You're like the new John Nellis. Have you seen his intros?
Oh yeah, I used to love his little dance. Actually, little tune. I'll be sad when we replace that. But...
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Thursday Club, episode 3.
Woo! Up the Thursday Club. Woo!
I'm on the Thursday Club.
Sorry.
Sat alongside with me again, as always, co-host Ricky, aka the Sorare Mamba. How are you today, mate?
Not too bad. It's my birthday yesterday, so once again, I'm a little bit hungover for the podcast, 2 in a row. Started to get a reputation for myself, all these midweek hangovers. But next week we've got Bristol City, Man City as well, haven't we? So
that's going to be tasty.
It'll be 3 in a row.
It's going to be a productive week, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And how was your 39th birthday? Was it a good one?
Ooh, very funny, very funny. Yeah, it's a good day actually. Filled with like darts and mini golf and food and beer. Yeah, very good, very good. I am on the beer again now. I'm on the Brooklyn, my new favourite lager, and it's American themed. You know, Brooklyn and my basketball team, American themed. I thought I'd go with Brooklyn Pilsner today.
With Brooklyn being in the east, right?
Yeah, but I mean, limited options. It's American based. Come on.
To be fair, I'm wearing my crew top tonight, which is Eastern, so I can't really talk.
Basically, at least I'm in the right conference, clothing wise.
Cool. So, what am I on? I'm on the Doom Bar tonight.
Oh, very,
which is again very topical with Sorare going through the Doom right now. Doom and gloom.
Bumpers, yeah.
We don't believe that, do we?
Some loose links there.
So anyway, today we're continuing our journey across the states. So focusing on the MLS West Conference, the preview, so the second half, and then the usual slots. So we'll have Mambas mystery prize giveaway. We'll have a special guest appearance on the show at the end as well. So that's worth sticking around for. Obviously, MLS season starts this Saturday, which is massive. I've got my gallery's like 99% MLS, so I've sat here for 2 or 3 months now, suffering, watching you lot enter and win prizes. So I'm buzzing for that. I'm really, really excited about this weekend.
Yeah, I've always been mainly MLS, so I'm really excited to get it back. Something about the America and the Asian leagues. I like having that wake up in the morning and having like your scores there and you get to check up on it. I sort of like NBA's done that as well, where you have it every morning. You wake up and you're like, all right, what happened overnight? I like it. It's a nice touch. Excited to have it back.
Yeah, MLS is also dad friendly because you can watch the games at like 7, 9, 11 when the kids are in bed. So that's literally the only reason why I got into the MLS originally. But yeah, you haven't got to worry about that, have you?
No, not yet.
So anyway, let's get into it. Lots to cover. Let's start with the weekly ramble, Rick. What is getting on your goat this week?
Let's start with rewards. They're still in the topic, aren't they? People are still complaining. I saw that Dan's released a little update. People complaining about the small amount that seemed to be in like the Asia and the America leagues, I think it was. But they've come out and said that it's right that they boosted it a little bit for the cap modes and that they maybe gone too far. They were looking for an increase or spike in engagement, with their words, and they obviously haven't seen it. So they've reviewed their data and readjusted so that the pools remain healthy, which sounds to me like we were giving away too many in our eyes. So we've actually brought it down. So there is no mistakes. The current prize pools for this week are accurate and are in range for what we think they should be. But they also
what do you think about that? Is that right with you?
They did look a little light when I looked at the Americas. I don't want to put my teams in here. Let's look at the prizes. Are so few compared to some of the other divisions. So I thought it was an error. I said to everyone in our little group, must be an error. That'll get sorted out, but apparently not. So yeah, I might have to rethink my strategy a little bit. I'm not sure I want to be feeding my best cards into these American divisions when the rewards don't look like they tally up. But there is some more news. They said we'll be announcing our new tiering system, which will increase prize pool accuracy and consistency, and that's next week, along with like shipping their in-product calendars, so you'll be able to plan ahead. So
tiering system, what do you reckon? Do you reckon that's going to be like a bit like the basketball and break them down into maybe like 5 tiers?
It would make sense to have more tiers, or just pay an intern to check the pools just before in the middle of the game week, someone gets an injury. You know, all these staff they've got, who just get someone in to do the run of the litter jobs. But yeah, it's just the consistency, I think, is the problem. And maybe stretching the tiers is what they need to help with that. But we'll wait and see. But we've had many promises before, and it's been a constant problem. So I don't hold my breath too much. I'm a little bit disappointed in what's on offer in America, but maybe I'll just have to use my American cards elsewhere. But yeah, we'll see.
I think that's the way, mate. I think probably whilst the prizes in All-Star are still going to include all the European lot, especially the Prem, I think that's going to attract a lot more people now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I need the same as you. I have a bit of a re-strategy tomorrow. I've left myself a lot of time. But yeah, we'll see. So, what's going on for me? So a couple of things. I mean, this is more just to spike my interest. So I saw someone post on Twitter today. I can't find it now to share it, but someone posted the fact that their 2021 cards were turning purple. So if you look at the So Rare card, it was a rare. Who was it? It was a rare keeper, I think, in the MLS, and the right hand side of the card, the border had gone purple for some reason. Apparently, quite a few of the 2021 cards are doing it. With no explanation behind it at all. And some cards are doing it, some cards aren't. I didn't fully understand why. But yeah, so that was just something that I found interesting, but I haven't been able to find it since. And then kind of the other bit, I guess, a bit of news which is relevant to us now is the MLS format, like playoff format changing. So I've tried to look into a little bit more what it means. So like we already know, as before, you've got seeds 1 to 7 that automatically qualify, and they'll go into now what is a best of 3 series, and then your 8 and 9 qualify into the wildcard matches. Yeah. So your wildcard matches, there'll be 2 single game elimination matches hosted by the higher seed, and then obviously whoever wins that goes through to the next round. But then the big change is your the next round, which is your round 1 best of 3 series. So before, typically it would have been 2 games. Now you've got 3 games. So you have match 1, the higher seed hosts it, then match 2, the lower seed hosts it, and then match 3, the higher seed hosts it again. So it means that everyone, in theory, everyone gets to have a home game, which is different to before. What does that mean to the So Rare user? In my opinion, it's a good thing because you get extra games, extra utility, and also like probably a little squeaky thing to look at is goalkeepers. Like you have your penalty specialists like McCarthy and Melia, and one of the rules they've changed is they're not going to have extra time in it. So there's likely to be more penalty shootouts, which means they'll bring on their penalty specialists during the 90 minutes, which means you'll qualify for like what's the score for coming on, like 30, is it, or 35?
25, isn't it? Sub.
Yeah, there you go. So you could pick up, say, a rare keeper who's a sub all the time on the cheap for the playoffs, and then be getting, flinging them in, hoping they get on their sub appearance for the playoff. Yeah. So just a thought, anyway. It's a little curveball there.
For a little strain of hope, doesn't it? But more utility, more games. Yeah, more games. Exactly. Fine with me. More games, the better.
I think it's good, mate. I think it's good. So anyway, next up, let's go with the weekly Mamba versus Mafia. So Rick, I'll pass this across to you. How did we get on?
Yes, how did we get on? Let's
maybe a little reminder of what the Mamba versus Mafia is actually first for those.
Yes, the Mamba v Mafia, the 5 common draft leagues we have. Each week we pick 1 team from the 5 divisions, and that's our team. Highest score out of us 2 is the winner, and the loser does a So Rare bomb live on stream, which is right now. First week I actually lost. Jesse picked me. His Premier League team beat my Bundesliga team for a 1-0 league. This week I went with my French team. Actually, my Premier League team ended up on 475 points, and I come 7th out of 163,000. But I didn't pick them. I went for this team here. I'll just share it now if you pop it up. I went for the dynamic duo of Mbappe and Neymar, and they put up 393,
look at that.
I think it was for me. So yeah, what did you manage?
That's tasty. So what did I get? I went for my Prem team.
What you know?
I flip those on screen. So I had a combined score. I think it was around 300, mate. I was nowhere near you.
Ooh, so I make that
so
1
yeah.
all then. I make that a leveler, which
Yeah.
I think that means you owe us a Sorare bomb, right?
I think I do, yeah.
For those who missed out last week, is a lager with a shot of whiskey in the top of it. A Sorare bomb. So there's no time
just
like
the shows where they pre-make their baking. Here's my lager. It's not my lager. It's my Doom Bar.
Oh.
And here's a overly large shot of Hague Club.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Well, for all audio listeners, he's trying to work his way through a pint of whiskey lager right now. There we.
Oh, that's not nice.
That's just what you want.
Anyway,
before we get to serious detail, well done.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Thanks, mate.
What team are you picking this week?
This week I'm going to go with my French team. I haven't actually picked them yet, so I'm taking a bit of a flyer here because I was badly prepared. But yeah, I'm going to go French team. How about you?
I'm going to go for my Bundesliga team. A couple of Dortmund, a couple of Bayern, and Flecken in goal. So yeah, we'll put them up on our socials and we'll recap it next week. But yeah, I'm confident again.
Perfect, mate.
Yeah.
Right. Next up, I think we should get some prize reveals, Rick, because don't we have a we also have another rule, don't we, whereby if someone hits a T1 plus prize,
yes,
that they have to also do a Sorare bomb on screen. I think you may have had a little bit of success this week. Is that right?
I thought we were going to say this till the end.
No. I think we're gonna do it now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So how do we do?
Fine. I will share my screen.
Sorry, mate.
You're not sorry. Pull my screen up then. I actually had quite a successful week in the limited divisions. I came 7th in the Premier League Amateur out of 163k, which
that's good. Yeah.
Wild, which is a tier 1 by 1 place. So unfortunately, on that basis, I do owe a Sorare bomb. I kept my rewards because everyone loves doing it for the content. Oh, look at these! They're shiny, aren't they?
6 rewards. Oh, nice. I like that.
Is
that their Prem? Yeah.
So this is ETH, so we won't bother doing that. But let's have a quick reveal of the other ones. 78th place landed me the German defender from Werder. Is that Werder? Yeah.
Anthony Jung.
No idea. Looks quite smart and well held together though, so fair play to him. 59th in Premier League Pro. I think this is a tier 2 Prem card. Very nice backing.
England.
And from the Arsenal, Ben White.
Oh, that's not bad. I quite like Ben White.
Yeah, I mean, top of the league. Let's leave that one till last. 243rd in Cap 240. I think this is a tier 2 as well. An Irish forward from Palace. Okay, Irish.
No, it wasn't. It was Ivory Coast. Wilf Zaha.
Wow. That's good, right?
I'm quite happy with that, if I were you. I mean, he's probably going to move this summer. Depends where it goes.
I'm very happy with Ben White and Zaha. So let's go for tier 1 Premier League cards.
What does a tier 1 look like?
An English guy.
England.
Midfield. West Ham. Declan Rice. Okay.
Not bad.
Okay, that's used to be very sought after. He was the last one in the tier. I checked the pool and he was the absolute bottom one. So there were some big names in it, but you know, I'm happy to come out of a game week with Zaha, Rice, and Ben White.
That's not bad at all, mate. Yeah, good little haul.
And I know why you made me do it at the start. It's because Declan Rice is tier 1, so I also have to do.
If I'm suffering, you're suffering.
Lager, whiskey.
I don't, mate.
Whoa.
For anyone just listening in, Rick's just pulled a scrunched up face and now has his head in his hands.
Yeah, well, it's all right because I've got the Irish forward, Wilfried Zaha. So
the well-known Cork-based player, Wilf Zaha.
Nellis must know him. I heard they were neighbours.
Right, mate. Should we get into it anyway?
Yeah.
Don't know how much people enjoy watching us drink. Right, what's next up?
USP.
So, should we get into the bulk of it? So, we called it the Wild Wild West, Western Conference preview. Same as last week. We're going to go through each team in the West one at a time, picking over 23 star, under 23 star, and our value pick, and do a little bit of a summary in the teams, just a quick summary and kind of an estimate on where we think they'll finish as well. So, Rick, do you want to go first this time or me?
I can go first. Maybe we'll go a little bit quicker than last week.
Give it a go. We'll see.
I got my notes printed out. You know, I was well prepared this time.
We're taking this really serious now, aren't we?
I don't get any more of the Bruce Dyke incidents as last week, although without whiskey on board, you never know. I'm going to start with Austin. Austin Ep3.
Right. Do you want to share your screen or should I chuck it on mine?
Just chuck them on yours. That'd be easier, I guess. Austin, they are, I would call them an extremely well-balanced team.
Extremely well-balanced team.
Yeah, they've got like that very complete feel to them, you know, like they're well set up, strong, balanced everywhere. I would question.
Would you say they're balanced?
Yeah. Why?
No reason. Keep going.
No, I'd say they do feel like a balanced team, complete. The question is, do they have like that extra spice outside of their main star to like get to the very top? I think they'll have a solid season, but do they have the depth to deal with the CCL as well? So yeah, the first time since they started up, though, they feel like they've actually got a proper number 9. I know Zardes wasn't, as good last year as he was in his peak, but he's a proper number 9, replacing the outgoing, is it Hosens, I think his name was. So a bit of a straight swap. I feel like they got better in that position. They also lost Gabrielson at the back, who was really good from last year.
He was quality.
So they've got Leo Vassanen, I think is his name.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a big job to do back there. So those are the main ins and outs. Star of the team is obviously Joyce in the hole. I love him. I've been trying to get one of him all week, but I haven't. One of the few players whose price is going up.
Shit, yeah, it is, isn't it?
He is the killer centerpiece of the team. He can get you those peak scores that you need to get on the podium. He's in my eyes an MVP candidate this year. He's just really good. You can see the scores there; they talk for themselves. He's class.
He's arguably is there a more desirable striker in the MLS? I'm not sure. Look at that.
Yeah, he's got that sex appeal to him. Under 23, I wasn't really sure where to go with this. I went with Daniel Pereira because I think he's a nailed starter as an under 23. He's solid rather than spectacular, but he is an under 23 till 2025, and he's going to start, and his limited is very cheap. So you're hoping here that he continues to trend up. Is where I'm going with this. I didn't
good value.
Yeah, his scores aren't amazing at the moment, but cap modes, I just think he's a nailed-on starter, and there wasn't a lot of youth to challenge him in this category.
Okay, 39.
Yeah, so he's got it in the locker. Value-wise, this was a bit punty because there was definitely talk that he might lose out in his starting place, but I'm going for Alex Ring. I'm going for it. It's punty because his scores weren't amazing last year, but he does have a strong history of before last year putting up really good numbers. So he's really cheap now, which is why I'm having him as like a value play. And that when you look back at pre-last season, so if you go back to all time, you can see he really picked up back there. I actually have his super rare as well, so I do kind of hope that he can get that form back. But he has shown it in the past, and it looks like he's going to start in the middle of the park. So yeah, I am hoping that he gets back to that. And my prediction for Austin is maybe second or third in the West.
Nice.
Solid, just not spectacular enough to go all the way, but I think they'll be right up there. So yeah, let's say third.
Nice. I think again, I kind of agree with you. I think they're a strong side. I think they're going to go far.
Ooh.
So
quick, Man United are beating Barcelona 2-1 after going 1-0 down.
Oh, nice.
Anthony's just come back from injury to score. So there you are.
Yeah.
Exciting times. Carry on.
Sorry, mate. FC Dallas is next up. So for me, these are probably my favourite team in the West. So they've got a real good blend of youth and experience. They lost Hedges, who I think is underrated. Obviously went to Toronto. They got in Ibiega as his replacement, who's decent but not amazing. Loads of attacking talent, great options in under 23, in particular to Stacks, which is what I like it for. Obviously, the only thing they haven't got is the keeper as under 23 Stack. Good first matchup. They're playing Minnesota at the start. I think Minnesota are going to be the Dickin boys this year. So for first week, I would say the first two teams, if you could stack Dallas and Austin, I think they're probably
St. Louis, haven't they? So,
yeah. I think you're in for a good time. Dallas are my dark horses for the season. I think they'll make playoffs easily, and I think they'll go quite far, quite deep. Could even go all the way. My star over 23. So I've gone for Paul Arriola. Grab him up. So Arriola is, he played for the USA. When he first joined Dallas, he was on fire. He's still super important to them, but he got heaps of decisives. He's one of those guys that he'll be vital to the team this year. He is streaky in terms of Sorare data, so he doesn't have the best AA, but he goes on like big runs in terms of hitting decisives. I've picked him for my 240 grinding team or 240 cap team for that exact reason. I don't think he'll always hit well, but he'll go on streaks. So yeah, he's my over 23. Under 23 is my favourite player on that team, which is Velasco. So Velasco, Alan Velasco, last season had a pretty solid season, a good first season with them. You can see by the price that he's already sort of kind of highly rated and touted, and his price has gone up since I picked him up. But look at his L15 and L5 scores, 73, 63, and even his L40 is 57. So Velasco for me is, I've only just edged him over Jesus Ferreira, but I think he's quality and he's potential top 5 U23 in the league this season. Even potentially an MVP candidate if he really steps up. Decisive wise, 7 goals, 5 assists, and yet he still hit those scores. So he's got a lot more to come in him as well. My value pick, I'm going. This is a bit kind of wild. They've recently just signed Jesus Jimenez. So he was part of a swap deal for, I think it was Savanier with Toronto, mainly an impact sub last year. But there's been hints. So if we look at his scores, first of all, he's 96 quid for a striker in MLS. Striker over summer's cheap, right, for 96 quid. His scores are like, meh, all right, like he hits decisives every now and then, so he hit his 65s plus, but generally is pretty average. But he was an impact sub pretty much all the season. So there's been hints already that they will play with 2 up top at times or quite frequently. So again, I think he's a good budget pickup for your 220 or 240 thresh teams.
Cool.
Ricky T, who's next?
Vancouver, going up to Canada.
Nice.
Smash through Vancouver for you. So the big news out of Vancouver, they signed new goalkeeper, Takeoka, I think is his name. He came from Yokohama, right, where they won the J League last year, and he was in the best 11 for goalkeeper. So not very good, very good with his feet. Sadly, that probably benches Hassel, which is bad for Sorare users because I have him and he was that under 23 option we wanted. Now at the door. But looks a good goalkeeper.
It's really
they lost
good, yeah.
Record signing Cavallini. He's gone back to Mexico. But they have got in Sergio Cordova for, I think it was Augsburg in Germany. He was at Salt Lake last year, was it?
That's right, yeah.
He's in to replace him up front. And they've also got Laborda, who is a nice signing in at CB as well. I think he's Uruguayan. So, yeah, they've made a few nice moves. Star player. This one was pretty easy as well. It's Gould. You can see him on the screen there. He's, oh baby. His decisive level is really strong. His AA game has been steadily ramping up. You know, I think he's one of the best in the league.
It's tasty, isn't it? Look at that.
To easily explain it, if you scroll up to his L5, L15 and L40, up a bit further. Up. There you go. L5, wow. 81, L15, 68, L40, 57. There you go. That's why you want him.
He's getting better and better and better, isn't he?
Yeah, I didn't realize he was quite that old. 27 is not old, but I thought he was younger.
He's known as Scottish Messi, though, isn't he?
Yeah. So really solid. I'd like to have one, but I don't. Under 23, I've gone for Pedro Vite, Vite. I made this pick because I really liked how he finished last season. He finished really strong scores to end the year, yeah. So, you know, it's got some AA in there as well. You can see pretty solid those last 5 games. A couple of decisives in there as well. So I'm picking him, you know, on the hope that he carries that on. He's projected to start. So, you know, you want to see him carry that form on and hit the start of the season strong as well. And my
AA as a striker, mate. Sorry to interrupt. AA as a striker and he hitting 20s.
Yeah, he's probably going to play in more of a midfield role than a straight-out striker, I think, this season. But yeah, looks really good. Value, I really like Kubas in the middle, but he hasn't got any cards, so it's hard to know what his price will be. I'd love to say Gressel as well, but I think he's probably too expensive for a value pick now. So I'm probably going to go with Schopf, you know, the ex-Schalke midfielder.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really lit it up since he's got there.
Sandro Schopf.
Yeah. So, but he has got, you know, pedigree. So, again, I think he's projected to be, you know, a starter this year. And he has the talent to massively improve on what he's done there so far. So he's a value pick. So I think he's really cheap for a starter who has the potential to get a lot better than what he's done for him so far.
He's been pretty solid in a much stronger league, hasn't
he? Yeah. So my prediction for them is, I'm going to say they might slightly overperform, actually. And I'm going to pop them at 8th in the West is my prediction for Vancouver.
Nice. Right. So next up, we've got Seattle on screen. We spelled Seattle wrong. So Seattle, my first pick, star. In fact, sorry, how is Seattle going to do? So last year was a poor season for them, but probably largely due to the CCL impact, which is like there seems to be this weird thing in the MLS where whichever teams do well the season before and qualify for the CCL then have a bad next season just because of the lack of squad depth and the way that the cap's set up. I expect this year them to bounce back. The squad's really strong. João Paulo returns and he's massive, and Hebert is a new signing who, as like a second choice striker, is actually really strong. Their season's defined if the big players avoid injury. So you've got Nicolas Ladero, João Paulo and Rui Diaz. All 3 of them are like stud players. All 3 of them suffer injuries quite often. If they can stay injury clear, they're like a, you know, again, title challenging team. Top 4 in the West for me. Playoffs easy and could push for the title. My star over 23 is João Paulo. I love him. Let's get him up on screen. He's one of those mids that like just does all the simple stuff, dictates play, plays CDM, gets on the ball loads, racks up AA for fun. His scores were ridiculous before he got his injury. Look at that. So he fairly regularly was hitting hundreds from CDM. He reminds me a little bit of Danny Parejo. It's like that kind of player. One for John Ellis. He hasn't got him already. So yeah, he's my kind of plug and play. If he stays free of injury, he can be your captain, or you play him each week. My under 23, I've gone for a Bed Vargas. So this was a bit of a trickier choice. It got a few players. Double Bear's another one that I thought about going for, but Vargas was another player, a bit like João Paulo, who last season would have had a big season and then suffered injury. So last season was Vargas's breakout season, or should have been. Came in when Paulo was injured and then got himself injured as well. U23 till 2030, so heaps of utility. I think this season he comes back and he gets more game time. Again, scores weren't massive when he was playing, but I mean, in terms of minutes played, he wasn't playing sort of the full match most of the time anyway. So he's my U23, and then Hey Bear is I mentioned him earlier. Hey Bear is my value choice. Yeah, so he was obviously at NYC. I had him last year, and I thought he was going to get a little bit more time. He's one of those historically, I don't think it will show up on here, but he had a year where he absolutely banged when he first came across to the MLS and was a really good striker. And then he's had a lot of time out injured, came back, and then at NY in New York, he was predominantly an impact sub and didn't play a lot, and every now and then will come on and then score a goal, get decisive. I think he'll be the same role to a degree this year, but he'll get more game time plus the CCL time, so he'll have the extra utility. So I think he'll play more there, and I think he'll rack up goals for 65 quid for a striker. He's gone up to 90. It was 65 quid when I looked a couple of days ago, so that gives you an idea of how fast these MLS strikers are ramping up. But he's still, even at 90, his value. Right, next up, Rick, go.
Go, San Jose Earthquakes, my boys.
San Jose.
Let's go, San Jose. They had real bad news in the preseason with Nathan's ACL tear. He was a bit of a monster, so, Do you
know what's interesting about Nathan? So I listened to the a podcast the other day, the Extra Time one, where all the experts talk about the MLS, and they questioned whether Nathan was good enough to be a starting player in the MLS. And yet, on Sorare, look at his scores, they're a joke. Carry on, exactly.
Score-wise, he's an animal. Sorare-wise, yeah, he's a massive loss. The back line's already shaky enough as it was without him. So, yeah, it's a painful one for the holders. But Mensah is being drafted in from Columbus to cover. Mm-hmm. Is he on the same level? Probably not. But, he's projected to start now. So that was a nice transfer if you had his card. They had Garuzo, who was the marquee signing from Augsburg, the Ecuadorian international. He's in now. And their star player, I really want to pick Montero because I really liked him, but I haven't. I've gone for Jeremy Ebobisi up front.
You love him, don't you?
Yeah. This isn't because I think he's the biggest star or the best striker, or that my reasoning for picking him is because there's no depth behind him. He is the striker. Last year, he started all 34 games. He stuck in over 3,000 minutes. Avoid those DMPs, baby. That's what you want. You sign him. There is no one else. He's starting. He is locked in up front. He got plenty of goals. So he's not a poor choice, but that's what you want from your Sorare holds. They're going to be locked in, nailed, starting. Jeremy Obabisi. Go on, my boy. Under 23s, it's Cade Cowell season, baby. Quite a lot, but never really got into the flow of it or really produced yet. He is now primed to realise his potential. This year is the massive breakout season. U23 till 2028. Prime real estate, baby. I think those are good prices. This is the year. Those horrible orange scores are going green. It's Cade Cowell time, baby.
He doesn't score good though, does he? I'm not on the Cade Cowell hype train. As in, he's a great player, but I'm not sure about his data scores.
Well, I'll remind you of this each week as he starts wrapping up the performances. So Kate Cow,
you do that.
Remember the name. You probably already know it. Value pick. There was only one person I'm picking as my value pick from San Jose, and that is my guy, Jackson Ewell.
Love Jackson
My first ever picks 3 years ago. I backed this guy to the hilt through thick and thin. Jackson Ewell, first name on the team sheet. What a man. Cheap as chips.
That is cheap, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah. I think their front six overall is quite balanced. I'm hoping under a new head coach, the whole offense can get a bit of an uptick, and in turn, Jackson Ewell as well. But cheap price for a absolutely nailed player. I believe in him. I love a bit of Jackson Ewell. I really want him to do well this year. You can tell I'm probably a bit biased where I'm hyping up Jackson Ewell. So I've probably given him a few extra spots just out of loyalty, but I'm going to give them an optimistic 7th place in the West this year. San Jose to bring a few surprises. Yeah,
I think they might. I think you're right. I think they're going to have a big season this year. How big, I don't know, but they're definitely going to improve on what they were.
Yeah.
Cool. So next up, Colorado for me. So I spell Colorado. Yeah, the Rapids. So I'm expecting a big improvement on last year. They were pretty pants last year. Jack Price was their main man season before, had big fitness issues last year, injury followed by fitness issues on return. I think this season he comes back and has a big season. Others think maybe not. I think he does. Questions do remain, particularly at goalkeeper. So you got Yarborough. They have signed Illich, who I think is now in play, hopefully. We've obviously watched a bit of him. He was across in Belgium, wasn't he? And he was a decent keeper. So I think he comes in and replaces Yarborough. The other question is at forward. So does Yappy play? Does Cabral play? Do they both play? Can Rubio repeat at the heights of last year? I think they are I think they're getting improvement at best playoff contenders. Nothing more. Starman for me is Rubio again. If you look from a Sorare data point of view, he should be top of everything, top of averages, top of SO scores, top of net decisives, top of goal scoring, assists, penalty kicks, free. He's all over it. Look at his scores. Actually, not in terms of watching him. I'm not a huge fan, but on Sorare, he just seems to score so well. So it's L5 71, L15 71, L40 62, and he just peaks pretty much every week. So he was one of those. I picked him up myself. Again, I'm not a huge fan, but I just can't ignore those scores. And he tends to, his AA is pretty good as well. He tends to hit like 10, 15, 20 plus most weeks. So he's my O23 star. I've gone U23 as a few options. Could have gone for Cole Bassett because he's back and I expect a big year. I've actually gone for Yappy. Darren Yappy. He is U23 until 2029. So he's still only 18, super young. I think even at 119 quid value, it's still good value for a pickup, although his floor's way too high at the minute. He broke in last season, tail end of the season. He obviously mainly made sub appearances, but I know he is a good player. He's very well thought of inside Colorado. And I think this year he gets a lot more time. Potentially he can even be their main starting striker. So he's my U23. And then value pick. You like this one, Rick? Cheers.
Big Ollie Larraz.
My boy, Ollie Larraz. So I think we talked about him last week, didn't we? Or we spoke. I'm sure we mentioned him at some point.
Yeah. I bought his super when I was drunk. Yeah.
There you go. So both of us have got quite a few of Ollie Larraz. He, again, without repeating myself too much, he was a big player, a big youth player, like really well regarded. He's still young. I mean, he's still 21, so he's a U23 until 2026. But he had a massive injury that ruled him out the whole of last season. And last season was his breakout year. But no doubts he would have been playing otherwise. He's been playing during pre-season, and I expect him to get a share of the minutes this season. not necessarily like starting mid, but probably like next in line and will be playing. But for a price of what, not even £1 yellow and £8 for a red, for me, that's like ridiculous value. Even if he doesn't play at the start of the season, you like sit him there and store him. And obviously he's going to start on a 0. So Olya Raz is probably my value pick for the whole season out of everyone out there. Pick him up. Go, Rick.
Next team, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Houston Dynamos is next on my list. This one was a bit of a struggle for me because there's not a lot there that really excites me. The main issue for Houston Dynamo this year is probably, will Hector Herrera be asked this time around? Because it didn't look like he could be bothered last year. That could be a key factor for them. They have finished pre-season strong. They gave Dallas a bit of a hide-in. They've lost Parker, Picolton, Rodriguez. Picking a star player was, well, that's an odd picture, was slightly tough. I really like Hadibi at the back, but I went for Ferreira up front.
Good choice.
Just as a nailed striker, strong peaks. You know, is he the most consistent I've ever seen? No, but you know, in terms of strikers, I think he does provide a solid price for starting nailed striker. Under 23s, I went for Adalberto Carrasquilla. I had to write that one down. To me. Carras. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Adalberto Carrasquilla.
That's out there. Look at that hair. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I know. He ages out in July, but there wasn't a lot of, you know, options for me to go on here. But he did show like a really strong ability to rack up A&A, and he got a few assists to end last season. So more I've looked into him, I do actually think he's really impressive, and he could be one of the best all-round mids in the league. I managed to talk myself more and more into him as I researched it. So I think
be one of the best in the league. That is
one of the best all-round mids in the league. Is my shout on him. In a team that I think might struggle, I think he's a really good price. I've actually made a little note to have a bigger look into him afterwards, because I actually thought that was really good value. So yeah, and my prediction for what they're going to do this year, they've returned a lot of the same players. I don't really think they've added any game changers. Defense looks weak to me. I'm not sure where the chances have been created from. So I'm putting them in 13th, and I feel that's being kind by saying there'll be one team crapper than them. But yeah, for me, not a lot going on there. Houston Dynamo.
Next up, KC, Kansas City. So, what do we think about these guys? Goalkeeper situation still not clear. I think Melia plays over Poolskamp. What do you reckon?
I think Poolskamp starts over Melia.
Is that because you own a Poolskamp card?
Probably.
But either way, it's not clear, right? You're either starting a 36-year-old.
I'd like to have the ability to stay up till 3 in the morning on Saturday to see, or Sunday morning.
I'm thinking about picking up Melia rare because I think he's going to play, but I haven't done it yet. I'm pulled trigger. Anyway, strong in attack. I think Kinder, when he returns, he was a big loss last season, will change the team again. Russell's classy but aging. Shallow is good, but I think he needs to take up another level because he should be better. I expect improvement, but not magic. I would say a playoff push, nothing more.
Nice.
My 023 is Russell, Johnny Russell. So he's obviously the old Scotsman from Quinny's land. He, in terms of like decisives, AAs, super strong. Last season was like a patchy season. You would describe it like not his best season. 8 goals, 1 assist. Yet the scores are still pretty strong. Decisive, AA wise, still hitting like 10s and 20s plus at time. He's their main man. He's their set piece taker, so PKs, free kicks, and he's also got a good supporting cast in terms of Shalloy and also Willie Agada. which takes me on to my U23, which is Willie Agada. So Willie Agada, this is one of my like must pick up. So as soon as he hits the platform, I will be buying him. So he's U23 till 2024. He came in towards the end of last season, and he had impact. Like he only played, how many games he played? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12 games towards the end of the season. But he scored. So he hit 8 goals and 2 assists in 12 games. And also, if you watch him, he's quality. So he's like for me, an absolute pickup. His AA's bang average, but he gets decisives. But I'm expecting big things from him. I think he could be a real star next season.
Big things.
Value pick, Fontas. So Fontas is pretty much Andre Fontas, quite a known quantity. Been there for a bit. Go back the season before last, he was like super solid, really decent scores. Last season's scores were average for quite a while, and then suddenly picked up and then got better and better as season went. So you see that if he goes L40 to L15 to L5, goes from 49 to 53 to 62. Like in terms of like actual natural quality, he's just a bang average player, but he can score pretty well on Sorare, and his price, 3-4 quid for a yellow, 52 quid for a red. For me, that is value, and I'm expecting the team to do well or better this season. So for me, he's a value pick. Who's next, Rick?
Real Salt Lake. They're known for hard and fast, expansive open football. They lost Cordova, who ended up going to the Whitecaps, and probably one of the best right backs in the MLS in Aaron Herrera, who went to Montreal. Their star player is one of my favourite players on Sorare, Jefferson Savarino. I really liked him at Mineiro. Was on my list for a long time, and he got there and he just started carving it up straight away. Less than a season in that system, so he figures to still have room to improve, but his scores are really strong, really consistent. Look what he's done since he got there, hit the ground running. I'm a massive fan. My under 23, there wasn't anyone really in the team, projected starting team, that I liked. They got a couple of proper youngsters in Jude Wellings and Axel Kai. Kai was the youngest player ever to sign for an MLS contract, I think. Both been talked up a fair bit. They're not going to be in the starting squad straight away. It's KEI, AXEL space KEI. There he is. Prospective long-term holds than immediate yield.
2032, he's 15.
Yeah, he signed a contract at 14. I really like those two as prospective rather than something that I thought was immediate.
Long-term pickup.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of talk about him. And value-wise, Krelic, who missed the whole of last season with an injury. Right, he's about to be 34, so age and injury history isn't on his side. But he's going to be back in the team, and he is, projected first 11 strong player if he can stay on the pitch. And his L15-0, so he's that first game cheat code a lot of people are looking for.
Look at that. He's definitely their best player by country mile in their squad.
Yeah. So if he can stay healthy and he can get on the pitch and you get that first game bonus from him. I also like Mazowski, who was there, I think probably projected to start up top with them as well. There he is. The pair of them are 0.04 and 0.07 for their Reds, for starters for game one. I like the pair of them. I like the pair of them as striking options, value-wise. Prediction, I think they probably lack the match winners to take them anywhere near the top, so I'm going to stick them 10th.
Nice. Can I argue that, mate? Next up, LA Galaxy. So, what do you think of LA? So LA had like a decent-ish summer. No big losses. By that, I mean, Araujo was going, then he wasn't. He's still going to go. But there's no big gains either. I'd also say they're weak at the back and weak on the wings. So I don't see them as like a big contender. A few people talk them up as dark horses. I don't see that. I think they got some quality players, but I don't see them as contending. Playoff borderline, probably at best. Who are my picks? So Star over 23. In the end, I went for Chicharito, Javier Hernandez. Probably a little bit biased just because I loved him from the United days, and he still balls in the MLS. So last season he picked back up after his injuries. He scores goals. Like he is a goal scorer. He's reliant on his decisives. So you're hitting 30s, 40s unless he scores a goal. But quite often he will score 1 or 2 goals. So I think he's a good pickup for both threshold teams and just as a general limited rare striker. 17 goals last season, 2 assists. He's also got a really, really good relationship with Ricky Puig. So I think he's a great stack with him. And Ricky Puig is my U23 pick. So
yeah,
I think he's arguably MVP material. He's U23 until 2024. He's way too good for MLS. And that's not discrediting MLS. I mean, he's just moved from Barcelona. I couldn't understand why he made the move in the first place because he was so highly rated there. I guess he just wanted to play. But don't know. He's come across and he's absolutely balled at the end of the season. His AA is strong, like 9, 15, 20, 37, 24s, like 43. He's shown he can completely dominate games from the middle. I think just as a stack pickup, the two of them together are brilliant. And then I've gone Mavinga as my value pickup. So Mavinga's moved across from Toronto. He's 17 for a red and 150 for a yellow. That's pretty much why I've gone for him, because he's a decent-ish player. I mean, he's not like a world beater, but he's pretty solid. They've got a weak defense, in my opinion, so I think he's got a good chance of game time. And if you look at his scores, again, he's not going to light it up, but 50s, 60s capable, decent enough for value at that price. Ricky T, who's next?
LAFC. Let's go. LAFC. So went all the way last year after getting bailed out by a retiring Welshman. That Welshman is now out the door along with Arango and Blessing. Aaron Long is their big free agent signing, pushing old man Chiellini further down the pecking order. Many think they'll have a bit of a drop off this year, with some of their losses and mixed with their CCL duties. They still brought back a lot of the team that won the double last year. So I think they'll still do pretty well. Their keeper's weak now until my main man Krapau is back. Doubts over Apuku as a number 9. Fella's ability to stay on the field. They managed to keep Cifuentes in the middle, so if that's how you say his name. So that was
Cifuentes, Sifu. He's brilliant.
Strong hold in there.
He's off in the summer though, or will be. But
for now they've got him. Star is going to be a rogue shout. This is who I think is going to be star in so rare terms, not necessarily the star in real life terms. But I think Boanga is going to be a really key player for them this year at a great price, and I just think he's going to be nailed on in that team. I think 0.28 for a couple of days before the MLS starts. I expect him to progress and push on again from where he was last year, and I think he's a great price for a good team. So he'd be my star. My under 23 honourable mention to the Golden Boy Stipe Buick, but I would give it to the left back, tried and tested in Palacios. Finished last season red hot, and he can put up those elite peaks in his scores, which makes a difference when you're going for the top rather than just a tier 3. So we're all after those. So for me, Palacios is the under 23. Value wise, I'm going to nip across to his other fullback and go for Hollingshead. Currently £1.60 for a yellow or 30 quid for a red for the starting right back for last year's champs. So, that is value.
That is a crazy price on. So Hollingshead is debatably the best right back in the league. Top 5 easy, as in
his scores
real life.
Yeah, his scores Soro wise don't always put it out. But that is a crazy price for someone of that, starting for last year's champs. So yeah, my value pick is Hollingshead. My prediction for them is 2nd in the West.
Nice. I love those picks. I've got Hollingshead as my my red main D, and I've also Palacios is my target for my limited team. Been trying to get him for a while. So next up, Minnesota from me. So Minnesota are my whipping boys for the season. If I can spell Minnesota. I can. Minnesota.
2 ends, isn't it?
That's why. There you go. We'll get there eventually. So Minnesota were average last season anyway. Not the best side, not the worst side. Their stud man Reynoso. Has anyone seen him? Like, it's a complete mess. He goes off every single summer anyway, back to Argentina, and that's because he doesn't like. I think he just doesn't like the weather. He likes to be back home, and normally there's like some sort of something that goes wrong. Like last summer, he got done for pistol whipping someone. The summer before that, he got done for something else. So you knew something was going to happen. This year, he went away and then just didn't come back to pre-season. They've now suspended him, and it feels more serious this time, although they're now reaching out to his family. So God knows what's going on. He's also teetering on the edge of going to jail with that previous pistol whipping thing and the rest of the stuff going through.
All things you want from your
Can this solidify the team, losing your stud man and having to go for the adversity? I think not. I see them as a bottom 3 team this season. I see them as whipping boys. Wow. I'm high on Dallas this year, and Dallas have them first game, and I'm stacking Dallas and hoping they wipe the floor with them.
Stacking Dallas.
Yeah. So the only, I mean, I'll get to him in a minute. There's only one player in this team I truly rate, and that is Dane Sinclair. He's one of my favourite keepers in the league. So I've gone for Dane Sinclair as my 0-23 pick over 23. He's going to be super busy, so there's potential for good scores. He's had good scores in the past as well. I mean, his L15 is appealing for your thresh teams, your cap teams, but look at his L5 and it shows what he can do. Super good at shot stopping. Like, he's one of those keepers that makes worldy saves and has amazing games, and then will like throw the ball in the net. He's still a bit erratic, but he's still young in keeper terms. I think he's a top 5 keeper in the league. So he's my 0-23. My U23 have gone for, I don't know if you say it's properly, Hlongwane. Let's get him on the stream. How do you say that, Rick?
Bongakuli Hlongwane.
There you go.
Awesome.
So that's how you say it. So Hlongwane, or Hlongwan, however you say his name. He's U23 till 2024. Value, in my opinion, at 74 quid for a red, 9 for yellow. His L5 is 60. Shows he can do it. He broke in last season and showed what he could do in glimpses. He's a speedy winger. He's erratic with his AA, but also can get peaks and some decisive. He had 2 goals and 5 assists last season. So it doesn't look too special on the face of it, but he can do it. I expect an increase in output this season. Then my value pick, a lot like the other ones, have gone for someone who showed a lot of potential and then got injured. So Hassani Dotson, he's coming back this season. He had a serious injury last year, cruciate ligament rupture. So again, that ruins some people's careers. So there's no guarantee he'll come back and ball, but I think he'll do all right. At 41 quid, for me, it's worth the punt, especially on a team that is, I think, is going to be pants. Like, look at those scores there; they're not bad at all, are they? He's got some peaks in there. Let's assume, I think Reynoso does somehow wiggle his way back in because they're that desperate for him. But let's assume he doesn't, then I think Dotson's got a big opportunity to step up and do more.
Cool.
Who's up next?
My last team is Portland Timbers. favourite of mine and a favourite of my friend and Sorare manager known as Breakfast Mbappe.
Yeah, Mbappe loves these, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a new Sorare manager who's adopted Portland. You know, so I feel his pressure and, you know, give him a good review and them having a good year. They lost Bill Tuoluma at the back and Van Rankin. But they've got a lot of talent and they've got a lot of potential. They had a lot of sloppy errors last year. They've got a poor injury record. I think they could have a strong season if everything sort of lines up for them, but it's whether everything will line up for them. They made a massive splash in, you know, the transfer world with their star man, who is Evander. You know, had to be sexy club record transfer Brazilian. You know, those words all together. That's what you want to hear from a team as a fan. Get in the door, big Evander.
That headband.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the fans want to see. He put up really good goal and assist record in Denmark. You know, all aboard the Evander train.
Look at that price.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play. He's got a lot of hype. Big signing, big name. I'm on board. Let's have a go. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. My under 23 is Mosquera.
Let me just jump. Sorry, let me just jump on Evander's scores. I couldn't move my mouse. Is it showing as pretty? Yeah, there you go. That's why. I mean, look at those peaks.
Yeah, beast, isn't he? Absolutely.
That's pretty heavy. And he's
put hundreds everywhere. That's what people are paying for.
Yeah, that's Denmark League as well, wasn't it? So you could argue, is that a better level? He's played Champions League, hasn't he? Yeah, that's appealing.
Yeah, can't afford him. Would love to have him. Can't afford him. My under 23 is Mosquera. OMSQU.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, and Mosquera.
No, it's the bottom one. That's Cincinnati's. He is an under 23 till 2027. You know, utility. That's what we like to see.
Utility, baby.
Yeah, you know, I think he's heading to be one of the best fullbacks in the league. In my opinion,
one of the best fullbacks in the league. That's a claim.
You know, I've thrown you out with one of the best all-around midfielders, now one of the best fullbacks in the league. So yeah, he doesn't currently have any cards, so you have to wait for new releases. He's also shown as a forward. I think he was showing when I checked, so that'll be updated too. But I have a lot of, you know, I think he's got a lot of potential. I've got a lot of hope for him. Yeah, so I think he's going to start the season as a fullback. So yeah. Value-wise, a lot of old men at Portland to pick between. I'd say the defensive midfield duo of Diego Chara and Williamson are the value here. You know, the first one needs to defy age because he's been playing at a great level. He just doesn't seem to slow down. So can he keep that up? But he's dirt cheap for someone that pops out pretty good scores for £2 or 30 quid.
He's your age, isn't he?
Yeah, and Williamson was on a right flyer and then he had a bad injury and he came back. So can he stay on the field this year? So I think if he can stay on the field, those two are really nice in there. You know, real linchpin parts of your team.
Yeah, so Williamson's a bit of a sleeper, isn't he? Because he's a American international as well.
He really peaked just before that bad injury he had, didn't he? So yeah.
Yeah.
Good year incoming for me for Portland. I am going to put them in 4th place in the West, and that's me over.
Last one up, last but not least, first season, St. Louisville.
Good.
St. Louis City.
Glad you drew that one.
Yeah. What do I say? So, Christ. Well, welcome to the league. I guess the first year they got a free hit. All we really have to go by is their pre-season plus the odd player that we know. So they've had mixed results in pre-season. So they've been competitive, but also full of goals. So they did keep a clean sheet against Vancouver, but the rest of the games they had goals galore. I can see them being entertaining to watch. I would avoid their D in most circumstances, although I have actually got a value pick within there because that's the way it fell. And I also love their keeper, Berkey, which I'll get to. Him and Park are going to be the key leaders this year. And I think, although they'll be entertaining, week 1, they're going to be in for a mass hiding and Austin will completely dick them.
Making me want to see even more.
Yeah, that'll be a good barometer. Anyways, it'd be one of those where they either grind out a 0-0 or they get ripped to pieces 4-0. Driussi hits a hat trick. Fakundes gets 2 or 3 assists, and then everyone who has that stack does well. And you text me in a grump saying you wish you picked Driussi. So yeah. Anyway, 023. Who've I gone for? I've gone for big man Berkey. So let's get him up on screen. Been a big fan of Berkey for years. So Berkey, ex-Swiss international, ex-Dortmund keeper. Sounds ridiculous when he's come into the MLS at 32. And you can pick him up for 46 for a yellow and still 600 plus for a red. Score-wise, there's not a lot to go by, but his L15, which you start on, is 32. So that's super appealing if you've got your cap teams. But that only takes in 1 game into account, which is what he's at Dortmund. He will be super busy this year, so there's chances where he'll have peak scores, and there's also other games where he'll probably hit like 10s and ruin your team. But he's key to anything they do. He's gone. I don't know how much people know about him, but he's gone for a lot of personal battles in life, a lot of mental health issues, which is why he ended up dropping off the radar for a while, and then has ended up at this level. But before that, he was like on mass trajectory to be like a top keeper. So I think if he's in a space where he's got his head right, he's potentially going to be way too good for this league, although he's going to be in a team that are going to get probably dicked most weeks initially. I want one. My U23 have gone for Ostrak. So we actually had a little debate earlier, didn't we, about which U23 was best at St. Louis. I don't know them well enough, but so this is a bit of a punty one, but he's come across from a decent enough league in terms of playing for Cologne. He made an appearance last season. He's been playing in pre-season, and I know he's a creative type of player. So he's someone who could potentially either get those decisives or rack up some AA.
Do you know he's a creative type of player, do you? If you got...
I know him really well from my Cologne scouting days. Just don't ask me what his first name is. So my value pick is Dirk Nowitzki's cousin.
Not Jake Nowitzki.
Big Jake.
Oh, I spent about 9 months trying to sell his super rare for about 4 quid. No one had it off me.
Jake the Snake. Look how serious he looks.
Wow.
So Jake Nowitzki, I've gone for him. Why have I gone for him? Because he is 28 for a red, that is value for any starting player in the MLS. You've got a whole summer's worth of utility for 28 quid. Yes, if you listen to what I said 2 minutes ago, they're going to get dicked most weeks and concede lots of goals. So not necessarily going to score too well, but just I like the utility you get for a 28 quid. He's also a known quantity, so he's been in the league for a while. He played for the Caps. He was all right. He's not great.
He's a known quantity. He's crap. What we know about his quantity. He's absolute crap.
He is, but he'll play. So, and at 28 quid, you can do worse. You can do much worse. Am I recommending him only because I'm being forced to?
Okay, and where are you predicting them, and why is it 14th?
So I'm predicting them to be bottom of the deck.
There you go.
Because they're not very good, to be perfectly honest. They got a good goalie. They got Klaus up top. Yeah, exactly. It's a free hit. But hey, anyway, so that's it. That is MLS wrap up.
On 2 weeks.
I know, yeah. And if you're still with us, well done. And if you're not, I can't blame you.
Yeah.
Toilet tip of the week, and then we're going to get onto the sort of final guest appearance piece. So we'll just kind of fly through this one. Ricky T, who's your toilet tip of the week?
My toilet tip of the week is a player who I actually picked during sorry, I'm just trying to minimize my screen. I picked during whatever we just did, that review. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Sorry, I'm trying to concentrate things at once. I just got him up on my screen. Yeah, him. Damir Krelak was a great player and is 0 in the cap for L15 this week. So I bought one while I was researching for the show, and he will be starting in one of my cap teams this week. And I'm hoping back to normal for him this year. So he's mine.
How much you pay for him? Did you buy a red or yellow?
I bought a yellow. I just bought a yellow to stick in a cap team.
Do you know how much you paid?
I could tell you. I got him for 1 hour ago. I bought him for a tenner.
Oh, you just got him. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, even at 10 quid, I know everything's suppressed now and is low, but he's gone on. But he, as the main man, that's still value, right? I mean, you can see my old one here actually. So I bought him at 16 quid historically, and I probably gave him away for about 2 quid in a poor trade at some point. But he was a good player for me. And then last week, who did you have? You had Jun Nishikawa, didn't you?
Yeah, he started for Sagan Tosu in the first game in the J League. Yeah, that's what you want to see, him finally getting on the field. He didn't have a great game, but he did
42.
But he did play the 90 minutes. You know,
and they also got dicked 5-1. So I mean, there's not too much you can do in a 5-1 dicking, is there?
Yeah, young, exciting, good to see him finally get on the field, get 90 in. A lot of utility to come. I'm happy to watch his graph go up on my toilet tips chart. So yeah.
You know what? I'm weak in my Asian knowledge, and I need a U23 mid. I think I might buy him. I think I said this last week. I need to do it. I need to pull the trigger.
There you go.
So who did I have? So last week I had Paddy Bamford. So Leeds striker. I actually read this is what you want to hear after you've been pumping the players. I read an article effectively blaming Leeds' woes for the striker's inefficiency, which pointed out at Patrick Bamford. So that's great. But in terms of like value, I mean, he still sits there as a starting striker at 63 quid, red or 11 yellow. I still think he's worth a pickup. Leeds are also at risk, obviously, of going down. And he's now playing 90 minutes. So he made 90 minutes against Everton the other day. 44 is not great, but didn't score. So I think he's still a good pickup personally. This week's toilet tip is a guy called Raul Fernandez. Bit of a left field one. He's Granada's goalkeeper. The reason I've gone for this is because I'm trying to pick up MLS keepers who generally, keepers and defenders aren't that great. We've already spoken about the prize pools being pretty weak in terms of like the American leagues, and All-Star maybe being the better way to go. So for me, actually maybe better off going for a keeper like this because they can hit big scores. And Raul Fernandez in particular, 76 is L5, 59 is L15, and 59 is 40, last 40. But look at those scores. So the DMPs because of injury, by the way, not because he's not a starting keeper. So he's been absolutely smashing. He's pretty much almost guaranteed to hit 60 plus every week at the minute. Granada are like top 6 off the top of my head in the league, so they're not even guaranteed to go up, which I hope they don't. I've just picked up their right back Rubio, who is hitting similar scores. So my plan is to pick up a Raul Fernandez and stack him with Rubio, and then not have to play any of my American defenders. So yeah, Raul Fernandez is my pick for this week.
That's some solid scores for a keeper. Very interesting. But I think it's about time we got the newest member of the Sorare Thursday Club team on board.
We better had, haven't we? Let's hide this screen.
Had him waiting in the lobby for long enough.
He's not going to be expecting this, is he? Right, here we go.
You hear us?
Tornado.
I can hear you. That's the longest wait for a new podcast member. The big reveal met with silence.
That was some serious filler, mate. Thanks.
Massive failure there. I don't know what was going on. That's me not understanding technology, I guess. But I fiddled with loads of settings and it's working now, so that's fine.
I would expect many people in the Sorare community have probably heard from him on Discord because he's an absolute creeper. Tornado on Sorare, been around a long time.
Well, same amount of time as you, but you know, I love a bit of Discord. I love a bit of chatting with people. You know, getting the good deals.
Discord's the new MSN Messenger, isn't it?
It is, yeah. ASL, please. That's all I ask.
why don't you introduce yourself? Just a little bit of So Rare background knowledge, a bit of a tornado backstory.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Johnny, otherwise known as Tornado. I've been doing So Rare the same amount of time as Jesse and Ricky here. So obviously, thanks to Jesse, who told us it'd be a good idea, then decided not to invest in it himself. So obviously,
thanks for reminding me. Rick keeps saying that as well. That's great.
But yeah, so what do you want? Sort of my own actual move to Bristol, etc., or just like So Rare history?
Just tell us a bit about your kind of journey on So Rare. So, like,
yeah, so
you got into it, but like, yeah, from the days of, you know, me saying you should get onto it and then you doing it.
Well,
you know, what's the gallery looking like? What are you doing?
Obviously, I came through the FI venture as well, so that we don't talk about. And I've always loved football. Obviously, as you can tell, I support Everton. So, I don't know if I've mentioned to you two before, but I quite a lot. So yeah, anything that involves, you know, my prior knowledge of football and doing the game where you can, you know, have fun and earn money is right up my street, basically. So started So Rare, I think it was July 2020. So same month as you, I think, Rick.
Yeah.
First purchase was a rare Locomotive Moscow João Mario for like £8, and I thought I'd just massively overspent. And how I mean, I sold them for a profit from about £20 probably, but wow. But yeah,
He's
so
balling now, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But since then, yeah, really just, you know, got lucky in the sense that I got some really good cards from the earlier days when it was cheaper, and just gone from strength to strength from there, really. Just won a lot of prizes, plowed into a lot of decent players, and it's been fruitful. So
what's the port looking like at the minute, mate? What's the value?
Let's have a look.
Straight into the finances, no messing around.
Yeah, straight in.
Yeah.
You're gonna make me an offer
3 weeks ago.
You're making me an offer. Is that what it is?
I am Pavel.
The new tactic, is that one of your new tactics you're coming up with? I think it's worth about 15 ETH at the moment. Obviously, there's been a bit of a
and dropping
that's affected everyone, but still, you know.
How about now, mate?
Yeah,
14,
13.
15 ETH, which is like $24,000, but I've taken out quite a bit of money for various things like weddings and babies. So, you know, to be able to have that and to have used it for good things, then, you know, it's been great. So,
all right.
So,
I'll just come up with some quick fire questions. What's your best ever signing on So Rare?
Oh, luckily I wrote this down.
I don't for any of this. I just decided I'm going to ask you.
It's as if I knew this question was coming because I actually wrote this down. So I've put my best purchase ever. It's kind of like a double purchase. I don't know if that's all right, but you know whether you'll allow it. But I did a deal of £120 for a rare Milinkovic-Savic and Matoma. Matoma, who now proudly sits on my fridge as a fridge magnet. Obviously, that was when prices were a lot lower. ETH was really low, so you know it's difficult to sort of judge that in today's prices. But those cards together now are probably worth about £1,000, I think, and I think I've won over 35 rewards with them. Those two, and a lot of ETH, obviously, through ETH grinding. So, but I'd probably go for Matoma. It's my best ever purchase. Like I preferred it more when he was at Kawasaki Frontail, obviously, when he was smashing 100 every week, But yeah.
Have you done the sensible thing and sold them as they 10x?
Nah, mate, never sell. Never sell. Hold.
All right.
Yeah, that's probably my best one. I've got a worse one as well. I don't know if you'd like that as well.
Oh yeah, let us know.
So I've gone a bit rogue with my worst ever purchase. I've made quite a lot of bad purchases, as we all have, but my worst one, which is probably I think my most expensive ever purchase, was a rare legend Iker Casillas Real Madrid card. Which was I bought him. I think I spent £700 on him. That's just.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't. It was ETH I had in my balance. So it was stuff that I'd sold. I hadn't actually deposited £700 in, but it was £700 worth of ETH. And
that's how much is he worth now?
Well, I gambled because it was before they announced the Legends competition, what they were going to do, and it turns out it wasn't worth that much. So
thought you needed
it's worth like £200 now, which isn't that bad, but like I've not won anything with him. It's been completely redundant purchase, effectively.
Hold till you die.
I thought I needed goalie for Legends, so I bought Casillas Limited because I thought you'd need a full team, but obviously Legends has been a pretty big bust up until this point.
Yeah, I mean the limited Legends have gone well for me. I've won a few good cards with that, but
yeah, I won one this week, but
can't support the rare Legends Casillas, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right. Favorite card?
Oh, favorite card. Which one of the 28 Everton players do you want me to say?
Yeah.
I've bought a lot the last couple of days. I'm also a 1 away now from completing the set.
That'd be a really useful championship stack for you next year as well.
I mean, yeah, completely. Although someone's just outbid me on my Mikolenko, so there goes my 1 card. Favorite card? That is a tough one. I probably have to go Zenarayan, I think.
Yes.
Rare, like Jesse, I support Crew as well, which is a complete coincidence, believe it or not. He's just a beast, isn't he? Just bangs indecisives. Like even when Crew, weren't that great in patches last year, he was still doing well, getting good AA. He's just a machine.
He's MVP caliber, and he's a baller.
Captain him every week, and you're bound to win prizes. That was my tactic anyway.
All right. Next road question: who's your fave content creator on Sorare?
Oh, I don't have to say.
There can be 2 if you like.
No, I can't say you 2. I mean, that's difficult because
where's the off button?
Yeah. Life has been tough to fit it in. Probably you got to say Nellis, right? If it ain't you 2, it's Nellis.
I like Nellis.
Wants to join this Thursday club and picks Nellis.
Well, I mean, you're 2nd and 3rd though, right? Bronze and silver's all right.
I heard Nellis couldn't finish a Guinness.
Yeah, mine's Andrew Laird all the way.
That sounds like a challenge. I mean, I also couldn't finish a Guinness, so couldn't even start a Guinness.
Yeah. Right, what else do we need from Johnny for his nice introduction? There's got to be some MLS-based questions, right?
Well, I've got yeah.
We just ran through.
We went MVP, top goal scorer, didn't we? And
breakout.
Breakout. Go
on,
MVP, top goal scorer, and breakout. Go.
Okay, I've got a few little ideas. So I've gone for MVP, and I'm not sure if this. I don't know what you've said. I can't remember if you said it on the previous one or not. But I don't want to duplicate work. But I don't know if this counts as controversial, but I've gone for Insigne. I know he's quality, and he probably is the best player in the league, right? So it's not that controversial. But Toronto were awful last year, awful, and I think they're going to do well. I think he's going to be the boy. So I'm going to go for Insigne.
I think that's a good pick. I think they're quite old in a lot of areas, aren't they? So it's whether they can all stay on the field and hold it together. But if they can.
They got Johnson and Hedges now. I think they're good. I think that's set now. They're potentially the winners.
Love a bit of Hedges. Love a bit of Hedges.
Oh, Johnson and Hedges. 20 Johnson and Hedges, please, love.
That's true. That's a very good point. Golden Boot. I've gone for Drusi. Don't know how to say his name.
Yeah, that's all 3 of us.
Drusi. Is it Drusi, Jesse?
Joe Drusi, my mate from uni. Yeah.
Okay. No, I've gone for him. I haven't really wrote much about him. I just know he's really good. Bangs in the goals. Austin, I think, are going to be a good team this year. So it's very difficult for a player to not be top goal scorer if they're not in a good team. So I think well.
Same as me, Insigne, Drusi.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Maybe I should have.
I like it. Validation. I like it.
So I've also put in a couple of things. I put best newcomer. I don't know if that was one of my options, but
breakout. Yeah.
So I've gone for. I think you might have already talked to him, but I put Evander.
Yes.
He did
smash it.
Talks about obviously I think he was incredible at Midtjylland, his AA, and even if he didn't do a decisive, his AA was insane. I think he probably could have got. Don't want to offend any MLS fans out there, but I think he probably could have gone to a bit of a better team in Europe. But so I think he'll smash it. To be perfectly honest with you, he's my best newcomer.
MLS car guy's smashing his keyboard right now.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I've also put my under 23 best player is going to be Bruce Dyke. I think, is that the guy? Yeah.
All right, another half bottle of wine last week.
No, I didn't put that really. I actually put Aidan Morris. So I think you might have mentioned before.
Yes, he's gonna have a good season.
I don't want to talk too much about Crew, but they're like the team I've obviously watched the most, so I can sort of say a bit more about him. He's only, I think he's just turned 20, so he's got a lot of utility left in him. He did well when he played last year. He sort of does all the hard work that allows Zelleran to sort of fritter about like I do on a football pitch.
No, Zeller runs, mate.
Yeah, is he slow? Is he?
But yeah, I think obviously now Arta's left as well, which kind of opens up. I'm not sure they've really replaced him. So
no, Morris will play every week.
I think Morris will play every week. I think they've got his brother there as well, haven't they? I think he's there. But, you know, not sure what that means, but you know, give him a good chat if he's not playing well. Come on, bro, you can do it. And then I've got what else have I put a little bounce back. I put bounce back player of the year. Is that a
why not?
New category I've created? I've put
I
have bought this player today, so you know, temper it with that. But
I
put
here comes the pump.
Albert Rusnak, my boy Rusnak. He was great at Real Salt Lake. Like literally, look at his scores, and it's just insane. Joined Seattle, which was a big move, really, like internally in MLS. Seattle, I think, were pretty bad last year, like compared to how they've been usually. And I think the whole team, just in general, weren't very good. So his scores weren't great. But he picked up his limited for a tenner today, and I just think that's an absolute bargain if you compare it to, you know, other good creative centre midfielders.
They're not in CCR, are they? They were too crap.
No, I think they did really well in it the year before last, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then, I think they won. That's
they haven't got time to share, have they? So you know, I think they will have a bit of a bounce back season.
I think maybe they suffered with like trying to do the CCL alongside MLS last year, like some like Europa League teams in Premier League and stuff do.
Mambas Crew fans, then, how do you two think they're going to do this year? Where are they coming out of? They're in the East, right?
Yeah, I think they'll do really well, to be honest with you.
15 teams in the East, 14 in the West, right?
Yeah.
1 to 15. Where are Crew coming this year?
Oh, I think they're definitely making the playoffs, which they didn't do last year, I don't think. Or maybe they did. But yeah, I think they'll do well. I think they'll do really well. They got Cucho Hernandez up front, who's a quality player. Like another player I was shocked to see sort of go from Watford. I thought he was doing great there. He was one of their better players when they were rubbish in the Premier League, I thought. But yeah, I think they'll probably make playoffs, but not win it.
Yeah, I'm with you. They'll make it. They'll make playoffs comfortably. Nancy's quality coach. They'll be better. Yeah. Their defense is worse. They'll be entertaining. They'll score goals. They can see goals. Yeah. They'll play a good team and then get ripped to shreds in the playoffs at some point.
Defense is pretty weak. They had like obviously Mensah. They got rid of Pedro Santos, who was like old but wily. He knew what he was doing. But yeah, not sure.
Just done a John Menson disappeared.
Yeah, and he's gone to replace Nathan Lee.
Yes,
Nathan.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about Nathan. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I brought him up earlier. Sad times. Right, yeah. What else have we got to do before?
We need to get to the mystery box giveaway. Is next up, but just before we get there, Dornado, Johnny's first session, which means he needs to do a initiation. So I believe, doesn't he?
Oh, is that a thing? Is it?
Yeah.
We have each done one so far this podcast.
And honestly, everyone we've ever had on this podcast has done one.
I like it. Well, as you well know, I am a cider drinker, so I'm doing my own version of a soda bomb, which is this lovely twisted cider, courtesy of Ricky's relative that gives me them, and I'm going to put spiced rum in as my shot because I don't actually have whiskey in the house, if that's all right.
Wow.
Called a So Rare John, this is.
So Rare John, yeah. Exactly it. And you know, as I did also win my first ever Star Limited this week, I think it's only.
Oh, did you? Because there's also a second rule whereby if you win a T1 plus, you have to do a bomb. So that means you owe 2.
Oh, maybe, yeah, but yeah, that's a good point.
People are watching right now.
What you two?
At least maybe 12 people will watch this.
Okay, right. Well, let me do this one first, and then we can have a little discussion, and maybe I'll end with a bomb.
There you go. Thank you, mate.
I'm sure the missus and the 9-week-old baby upstairs will be buzzing at
that. Yeah.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers. Welcome, STC.
I'll join you. Rick's having a night off tonight.
He does so, Rebon.
You know what he's like.
Hang on, you've had a night off?
Yeah, he's had a night off tonight.
Anyway, okay. Let's do these prizes.
Mambas mystery. John, have you seen Mambas mystery box giveaway before?
I've seen it on the previous. That is. It's exciting. I commented. Can I win a prize even though I'm on the podcast?
Well, yeah.
You're in the box. Who knows?
I can tell you that
it might call rig though. It might be like the whole card exchanging thing.
I have drawn a winner. Jesse, if you pull my screen up.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be?
It was Matt Porter.
Matt Porter.
Oh.
Boys making Thursdays the new Friday.
Like it. A lot of time for that.
He gets something out of Mambas mystery box.
I feel like we need some music.
Yeah, we do.
Has anyone got? Have you anyone got some Wild Wild West playing?
Is surfing or climbing on Sorare yet? Because he'd be all over that.
Yeah.
He would, wouldn't he?
We have got Taxi Fontas Limited.
Taxi Fontas.
On brand.
Taxi Fontas.
Isn't he? Didn't he get done for racism last year or something ridiculous or whatever it was? Is he actually playing?
I think he's a good candidate. Yeah, he's going to start for Rooney. I think he's a good candidate for a big bounce back season. Matt Porter, you have won a Taxi Fontas. If you drop me a message in the next 7 days, otherwise you'll go back in the pot.
Taxi Fontanas, eh?
Oh, okay. I was trying to say concentrate and speak. Taxi Fontas.
What's that noise? You get a pizza, Jess?
Yeah.
It's the wife telling me to shut up.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
So,
you know the feeling.
Yeah, I do. Just a few seconds. I don't know if something's been addressed, but has it been addressed that it was a certain member's birthday yesterday?
Oh. Yes.
Well, no, we touched on it briefly, but not properly. Yeah.
I kind of feel like as a guest, I should have prepared something which would result in that that host drinking, right? Is that correct?
You got to bring something to the party.
I got to bring something to the party, right? I've prepared a little quiz for our lovely Rick Robinson here.
Oh, I wasn't expecting this. It's a complete surprise.
It is, yes. It's 5 questions, a sort of penalty shootout style 5 questions. If you get it right, i.e. save, then you get to nominate. You get to tell me and Jesse to effectively do a shot of your choice of the stuff in this house. If you get them wrong, you have to do a shot yourself.
A shot?
A shot. I mean, it's a shot, mate. It's a penalty shootout. Can you say shot?
Do I have to do that right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, you're going to have to fill for about 40 seconds while I run down and get something then.
Go for it.
Are you presuming you're going to get the questions wrong, are you?
Yeah.
Are you presuming I've put really, really difficult questions in?
Yeah.
Correct.
Is there a theme to it, John?
It's just like MLS.
MLS, good.
MLS, as we're doing MLS week.
Who was your winning team this week then that earned you that bomb?
My winning team, yes. Let's have a look.
What div was it in?
It was in the Legend.
Legends.
I have won a couple of prizes in before, but it was when the prizes were only Legend cards, so it wasn't that great. You could only enter one Legend team, and you were just winning more Legend cards. So it's just like a it was impossible to have any value.
Yeah, I'm not for legends.
However, they've changed the prize pool now, so it's normal cards to win. So you can win like a Mbappe if you do really well. Or
Who'd you win?
so
Mbappe?
I didn't win an Mbappe. I won Sparta Rotterdam's starting goalkeeper. I mean, I looked at the prizes for start, and I did get quite excited by the first sort of 3 pages. What I should have thought was I'm probably going to get a Sparta Rotterdam keeper, which I did. But he's really good. Like, don't get me wrong. I've got quite a lot of keepers.
Have you considered being that guy and asking to swap like everyone else is for a star? And justification is this is a star player. You've given me a Sparta Rotterdam keeper.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I'm not a whiny little bee.
That's why you're on here.
Yeah, I mean, I debated seeing if I could swap it for a super rare Bakary Saka. I think I've combined Bakary Sanya and Bukayo Saka there, but
you have, yeah.
But yeah, it was a lovely little price to get midweek. Can't be unhappy with that.
Right, Mamba, what are you up to? What have you got?
Oh, what I've just got is 2 Evan Bushes from Columbus Crew. You might know him.
I do. Nice. He's gonna play 1 game, then Rooms can get his visa, and then he's gonna go back to the bench for the rest of the season.
But it's tasty L15 of 0 for cap modes this weekend.
Oh, that is nice. That is. Imagine if they played a 3rd string keeper instead. Good.
Ooh.
Slow vodka.
I recognise that.
From my wedding, actually. I don't know why I've decided to do vodka at this time of night, but you know. Yes. Go on then. Let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to start it. I'm going to start it on hard questions that you might get.
Okay.
And end with hard questions you 100% won't get. So, first question, first penalty, I should say. In 2006, England beat Northern Ireland 4-0 in a World Cup qualifier. 6 players who played in that game for England went on to play in the MLS. Can you name all 6?
Ouch.
Hang on, 6 players played for England who went on to play in the MLS.
5 started and 1 came on from the bench, and all 6.
So Rooney, Lampard, Gerrard.
Correct. That's 3.
Sean Wright Phillips.
I'll allow you 2 wrong guesses. So that's 1 wrong guess.
Got to be quick, mate. We're running out of time.
Oh yeah.
That's true. Oh yeah. There's also a time limit. Jesse is the timekeeper here.
I'm not going to get 3 more. So.
Are we giving up? Are we? Ah, well done, mate. Would you like to suggest some answers? No good.
Ashley Cole go over? I remember now.
So the answers were, you forgot to say probably the most famous England.
Beckham.
Yeah, Beckham. Did you say Beckham?
Actually, fuck no, Beckham.
Beckham, Ashley Cole, Gerrard, Lampard, Rooney, and the one I thought you might not get was Jermaine Defoe.
Toronto.
Toronto, yeah. So that's 1 penalty in, I'm afraid. Sorry, mate.
Keep going. Speed round. Let's go.
Yeah, sorry. Next question is, the MLS Best 11 last season was a 3-4-3 formation, but can you name 2 of the 3 defenders?
Ex-Bristol City legend Derek Williams.
Incorrect.
Nathan.
Incorrect.
Julio Cascante.
He's out. 2 wrong answers.
Yeah, that's wrong. The answers were Glesnes, Zimmerman, and Wagner.
Oh, he's gone straight in for the shot.
Okay. Next question. St. Louis. Is there a time limit on this? Because it sounded like there was a horn going then.
Yeah, 10 seconds. And he's got 2 wrong answers.
Okay. Either or. St. Louis City are this year's new expansion team, but can you name the last 5 before them?
Yep. Austin. Charlotte.
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, turns out I can name 3 of them. I can just have 2 wild guesses. I don't know. There's no way I can get the last 2.
Wow. Interesting. The answers were Inter Miami and Nashville.
Oh, Inter Miami.
Oh, mate.
I would have got Inter Miami. I thought Nashville was quite hard.
I
But
would have got Nashville.
Phil Neville's Barmy.
Yeah.
okay. This is an Everton-related US question. There's been 6 USA nationals that have played for Everton in the Premier League. Can you name 3 of them?
6 USA. Landon Donovan, Tim Howard.
That's the easy 2 done. I think you can get this. We've got to really think about it.
Time is ticking.
Damn.
That's so unfortunate, mate. The answer
Gutted for you.
Brian McBride, Grim, Anthony Robinson, who currently plays for Fulham, Joe Max Moore, and Preki. What a legend.
All right, I've never getting that.
And
For anyone listening, Ricky's just done another shot.
yeah. Right, this is the final one. And I think we'll all do a shot with you here, just, for a laugh.
Will we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will. Anyway,
All right.
so the MLS, oh no, that's not right. The MLS first season was in 1996, which I'm sure you knew, and there were 160 games in that season. How many goals were scored in total?
Okay.
And if you get within 15, then you win. But I mean, I'm both good to do the shot anyway. So
Like 10 seconds.
160 games. Okay, so I'm going for 473 goals.
how many?
473.
Oh, that's not a bad guess, actually. I thought you said 173 at the start, and I was like, that's not right. The answer is 539. Close.
Oh, mate, I'm gutted for you.
But happy birthday from me.
Sante,
Yeah, I've got myself a nice little amaretto here. Cheers.
I'm on the whiskey. Cheers,
Happy
boys.
Thursday Club. Mm.
Happy Thursday, club.
Oh, it doesn't get better, does it?
Yeah.
That's
Right.
beautiful.
That's the end of the shootout, and that is the end of today's podcast. So, Johnny Dornado, thank you for joining us today.
No worries. Enjoyed
And
it.
then thank you to anyone else who's got this far, if you have gone this far. That is it's the end
The
of
best
the
bit. The best bit was at the end, right?
It was, yeah. You missed out if you didn't. So that's the end of the MLS previews. As of next week, obviously, well, as of Saturday, MLS starts. So we'll be back again next week, reviewing week 1 of the MLS, looking at strategies so far, and how we've got on. And a word on the street is Dornado may make another guest appearance and give us a little bit of a scouting mission on Everton, because he likes them a little bit.
I mean, when does a guest appearance become a regular appearance?
When you start turning up with sound.
And mate, I was there 40 minutes ago when I was told to be there. All it quits.
Yeah. All right,
boys. Pleasure as always.
Enjoy the first weekend of the MLS, chaps.
Good luck.
Good one.
STC forever.
Up the Thursday Club.
Up the Toffees.
Up the Toffees.